The Arizona Corporation Commission recently voted to approve a rate hike for APS customers. Commissioners also gave the go-ahead on a controversial surcharge for customers with rooftop solar panels. Russ Wiles has been covering the story for Arizona Republic and azcentral.com, and he joins us now. Russ, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to meet you, Ted.
Let's start with why APS wanted this rate hike in the first place.
Well, basically, I think the math is that they're building the electrical grid around Arizona. A lot of growth, as you know, population and business, and they borrow money for a lot of that. They go back to the rate. They're kind of requesting their rates in arrears or in retrospect. This rate case started 2 years ago, so it's taken a couple of years for them to kind of recover those costs.
So basically, from what you're reporting, from what I understand, it's that they need to reassure lenders that everything's okay, keep it coming.
Well, yes, and APS has a lot of debt, and the parent company, Pinnacle West.
Yes.
Not unusual for a utility, for a lot of corporations, but they're not an A-rated credit company. They're in the middle B range, so triple B plus.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, I think APS President Ted Geisler kind of alluded during this Corporation Commission meeting that, they want to assure Wall Street that they can borrow the money on good terms, and part of that is getting the rate increases or the rate relief or whatever you want to call it approved by the regulators.
Interesting. Public comments, what did you hear during the rate case? What was heard and how much was that? I mean, the corporate.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, I was going to say, but what was the overriding sentiment on the public comments?
First of all, let me say that the commission, the Arizona Corporation Commission, said they received more than 2,000 comments from the public. I didn't read those. But the Corporation Commission on February 22nd approved this rate hike for APS customers. It was an 11-hour deal. It was an 11-hour session. At one point during the meeting, Chairman Jim O'Connor said he wanted to wrap this up before midnight. Nobody laughed. I'm not sure it was a joke. It was a long comment. There were 28 parties, but really I counted more than 45 speakers got up and said something, excluding the commissioners.
It's interesting. I don't even know what you would say. It seemed like there was uncertainty over how much the increase would affect individual customers.
There are several moving parts, and one of them was the solar, this new controversial solar surcharge, this monthly fee that APS customers who have solar rooftop electrical generating systems now have to pay.
Yeah, and so basically they couldn't even tell you at the time what all of this was going to hit as far as a customer was concerned, correct?
There was some of the numbers took a little while to figure out. And this is a complicated case. The administrative law judge for the Corporation Commission issued a preliminary report that ran more than 450 pages.
My goodness.
It was a big deal.
This surcharge for the residential solar users, yep. Why did they ask for that?
That was a tricky one. First of all, solar customers will now pay an average of about $2.40 to $2.55 a month for the right, basically, to plug into the grid. Even though they're generating their own power, for the most part, they're still plugged into the grid. They still need help off hours. And the commissioners, the solar industry felt that this was discriminatory against the solar customers. The commission took a different stand and felt that if without this surcharge, allowing these people otherwise to plug into the grid for free, it would be discriminatory against the 90% of other ratepayers who aren't solar customers.
So basically, they're not paying for the full cost of the services that they get.
That's basically what they're saying. Yeah, that was their reasoning.
Yeah. Okay. And so that goes through. Last question here. And we talked about profitability and credit rating with Pinnacle West, the parent company here. Pinnacle West, the net income $500 million. Your report, I think it was your reporting. $500 million up from $438 in 2022. I mean, this now the return of investment. It seems like it increased. They seem like they're doing okay.
I think they're doing better in the last 2 weeks. Their stock price has risen 3% since this happened. They're forecasting higher earnings from $4.41 a share last year to somewhere around, I think it's around $4.60 or $4.50 a share this year.
So good news for rate holders.
Maybe a little higher than that, actually.
Yeah, rate holders are happy to hear that.
Well,
Yeah.
shareholders are.
Before you go, do we now know what the average APS rating, what is it going to be?
Yeah, the bottom line, or the top line, or however you want to say it, the average APS customer will pay about 8% more per month, or about $10 to $12 more per month.
So it is 10 to 12 bucks.
That range, yes.
All right, Russ Wiles, great reporting, by the way. Arizona
Well,
Republican,
thank you.
azcentral.com. Thank you so much for sharing. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Ted.
it.
Appreciate it.